Netflix's Bridgerton became one of the most talked about Netflix releases back in 2020, partly because of the revelations of its ending. Thanks to the fact that it's based on the 8-book series by Julia Quinn, there is a lot more scandal to be told in the world of Bridgerton. Fortunately, with Bridgerton Season 2 arriving on March 25, 2022, fans will be getting answers very soon. Bridgerton might have one major controversy, thanks to a sexual assault scene that caused controversy in the books and should have been left on the cutting room floor, but overall, it is a glorious triumph. Shonda Rhimes' production company and the director Rhimes collaborator Chris Van Dusen have crafted a beautifully observed, surprisingly progressive answer to Pride and Prejudice that deserves to sit alongside The Crown and Downton Abbey as one of the finest historical drama series of recent years. Bridgerton is less conventional than both, but does end up doubling down on some of the very familiar tropes that make the most successful historical romantic dramas so popular. The ending of Bridgerton Season 1 sets up further adventures, romantic and otherwise, in the ton, with each of the main Bridgerton family members facing new dawns, even, as the finale says, when some endings feel more final than others. Netflix can explore more on the subject of scandal, the accountability of rakes, the mystery of the Featherington estate, and the question of whether Eloise and Penelope will find their matches, no matter how reluctantly. For now though, here's what the ending of Netflix's Bridgerton Season 1 means. While Lady Whistledown revealed the ton scandals, the big moment at the end of Bridgerton Season 1, and the thing that offers the most promise for the coming seasons, is the revelation that Lady Whistledown is really Penelope Featherington. More important, however, is the question of why Whistledown does what she does. Bridgerton's Lady Whistledown doesn't merely revel in the idea of scandal and salacious rumor, because she rarely writes anything inaccurate, but she is a protector of virtues and a sort of guardian angel of the ton, seeking to make sure anything untoward or immoral doesn't go unpunished in the court of popular opinion. In effect, Whistledown is running her own answer to cancel culture throughout Bridgerton Season 1, which, of course, is merely a sensationalist way of discussing accountability. Whistledown, as an outsider able to take aim at acceptable society with greater impunity, seeks not to target victims or the weak, but to turn society's gaze to injustices, though her own personal experiences of debutante culture have jaded her somewhat. In that regard, she is also fighting back. Why Simon changes his mind about family. The biggest single story of Bridgerton Season 1 is the courtship and marriage of Simon Basset and Daffeny Bridgerton, who are thrust together through a delightful trope-embracing meet-cute revealed in the marketing. Daffny wishes to be desirable in Whistledown's eyes, and the Queen's, and Simon wishes to hide from the pressure of debutantes and their meddlesome mothers. Naturally, they fall for one another, but Simon's dark past stops him from committing to a family, as he wishes to end his bloodline as revenge for his father's neglect. It's an understandable pain point, but Simon is eventually convinced to turn his back on it, largely through Daphne's gentle pressure that his vow is punishing a dead man and himself. It is also thanks to Lady Danbury that Simon is convinced, as at the Hastings ball, she warns Simon not to become a victim of pride, alluding to the fact that his father's rejection of him was for the same reason. In seeking to avoid becoming his father, Bridgerton Simon, Duke of Hastings, almost repeats his greatest sin. What happened to Lord Featherington? He's killed, to avoid any doubt. Throughout Bridgerton Season 1, Featherington was noted for his poor decisions, not least in the wagers he placed, and his final error of judgment was in engaging the sinister bookmakers in a bet on the fight that Will threw. Unfortunately for him, Will was as good an actor as Featherington was a gambler, and the dive he took gave the game away to Simon Basset and the bookies. As he spent his winnings, the bookies used connections to infiltrate the brothel and laid in wait for him, taking back what was owed to them. Whether Featherington took his winnings out with him or they broke into the Featherington home is unclear at this stage, but he was an unscrupulous man who threw good money after bad, so it wouldn't be surprising if he had. The final insult Bridgerton's Lord Featherington left his put-upon family was the loss of the deeds of the house, which the bookies presumably took back from him as revenge for his attempt to deceive them. Lady Featherington is shown asking who will inherit their home, and her housekeeper Violet passes a mysterious note in a loaded moment that confirms that whoever it is known to the Featheringtons. That mystery will roll over into season 2, but it would have to be someone wealthy enough to have either bought the deeds or to be bankrolling the bookies. What the final shot means, after the storylines are wrapped up, the very last shot of Bridgerton Season 1 sees a single bee fly in through the open window of the bedroom in which Daphne gives birth with the camera resting on it. It's no accident, as fans of the Bridgerton books will know, but there are two meanings behind it. Firstly, in the wider narrative of this universe, bees represent the weight of the past, particularly for Anthony Bridgerton, who wrestles with the same ideas of legacy throughout Bridgerton. That's because, in the books, Lord Bridgerton, his father, was killed by a bee sting, inspiring in Anthony a morbid fear of bees. They fundamentally represent both mortality and the fear Anthony has throughout Bridgerton Season 1 of his own duties as the head of the household, which he runs away from symbolically by becoming a rake. But the second meaning of the shot is more conventional. Bees are a sign of community spirit and personal power, but even more crucially, the concept of order, which is precisely what Bridgerton is all about: the upkeep of good order. The real meaning of Bridgerton Season 1, the whole salacious undercurrent of Bridgerton's ton, paints a picture that absolutely everyone has either a scandal behind them or some sort of secret they do not wish for others to pry into. For some, it is a personal trauma, as with Simon's history or the Queen's tragic marriage, but for others, it's outright criminal or immoral in the eyes of society. Everywhere you look in Netflix's Bridgerton Season 1, characters have a duplicitousness about them, whether out of necessity or design. Simon hides his fragility behind stoicness and strength. The Queen hides her pain behind a front. Lady Whistledown's real identity is massively at odds with her assumed one. Anthony is a lord seeking order for his family, but wrestling with his own desire to escape his duty. And then there is the concept of the second community beneath the surface, where Benedict and Henry Granville can be themselves and embrace counterculture, where Madame Lacroix doesn't hide behind a false accent, and unfortunately where Lord Featherington destroys his life and family. Lady Whistledown's true mission is cutting through the facades by revealing all of the scandals and the hypocrisy of those who appear one way, but contradict their image with their behavior. In this world, the idea of a love match where two people can be together without pretense or force is, of course, the purest of things. And even as Bridgerton offers a more progressive view of life where there is more racial equality than the real historical period, and women have far more agency, and are in fact the major power players, it's something as simple as the message that love conquers all that shines through loudest. There is, however, a sting in the tail of Bridgerton Season 1, so the bee is even more pertinent because it ends up reinforcing some of the most typical tropes of acceptable society. Why Simon isn't in Bridgerton Season 2, did his ending work? Because Simon, Duke of Hastings, played such a crucial part in Bridgerton Season 1 and was a fan-favorite character, questions abound as to why Regina Page won't be returning for Bridgerton Season 2. Rest assured, Simon hasn't been killed off, and his happy ending with Daffeny remains in place. Rather, the main reason the Duke is missing in Bridgerton Season 2 is the same reason that the series as a whole will have a different feel starting with the Season 2 premiere. Bridgerton Season 1 story has reached its rightful conclusion, and from now on the show will be following different characters. In fact, Regina Page knew all along that his role as Simon Bassett in Bridgerton was only meant to last one season. Throughout the course of Bridgerton Season 1, Simon had a complete and satisfying character arc. As previously discussed, his relationship with Daffeny allows him to let go of the past somewhat and stop punishing himself for the ways his father wronged him. Renouncing his vow against children, Simon finds himself in a perfect relationship with Daffeny that ultimately results in the pair having a baby. Simon and Daphne's love story may be chock full of period drama tropes, but this makes it no less satisfying and effective. Essentially, Bridgerton Season 1 already gave Simon the best ending it could have, and thus there's no pressing need for the character to return in Season 2. Of course, this doesn't mean fans won't still miss the Duke of Hastings, and hopefully Daphne's return in Bridgerton Season 2 will offer some windows into what happens next in her and Simon's life. Bridgerton Season 2, everything we know about Kate. In a recent interview, Simone Ashley has revealed her hopes for Kate's future in Bridgerton, as she is elated with the positive feedback she received for her casting, character, and chemistry with Bailey. Ashley wants to continue her tenure and appear in future Bridgerton installments, despite knowing that the show's love interests typically bow out at the end of their one-season stories. The actress's explicit intention to return runs directly in contrast with the Duke of Hastings' fate in Bridgerton, arguably suggesting that she will not risk becoming a fan favorite, only to disappear later on, just like Simon. Thus, Kate's longer exposure in the show might also pacify the fans' disappointment of being deprived of their beloved character. Shonda Rhimes' plan was to diversify Bridgerton and change the genealogy of vital characters. In fact, Ashley's casting was not the first time the Regency drama departed from the Julia Quinn novels. Page's casting as Simon Basset represented a part of the plan, as in the novels, and in history, 1813 London was an openly racist society, so people of color could not be a part of the aristocracy. Bridgerton losing the Duke due to Page's departure was then a real blow to Rhimes' vision, particularly because of his significant role in the show. However, Ashley's introduction could serve as a solution. Going against the source material once more, Bridgerton Season 2 changed Kate's family name from Sheffield to Sharma, offering South Asian culture an equal opportunity for representation. Perhaps, this time, Rhimes' intention will be sustained. Furthermore, Simone Ashley wanting to be involved long-term highly suggests that her character's love story with Anthony will play a remarkable part in the series. This can be easily accommodated later on, especially since Bridgerton has already changed parts of the book's plot. Time and audience feedback will tell, but with Bridgerton Season 3 and 4 already confirmed, the possibility of keeping Kate is surely promising. Bridgerton Season 2 will see Anthony and Lady Whistledown at war. Bridgerton Season 2 will presumably feature a war between Anthony and the scheming gossip writer Lady Whistledown. In the original 8 Netflix episodes, it's Phoebe and the Duke who receive the most attention, but their conflict resolution suggests that the second installment's focus will shift to different characters. Based on the narrative precedent set in Julia Quinn's eponymous novel series, Bridgerton Season 2 will center on Jonathan Bailey's conflicted character, the Viscount. Like so many adaptations, Bridgerton hasn't been entirely faithful to the original book narrative. Story-wise, the Lady Whistledown identity reveal doesn't actually take place until the fourth installment in Quinn's franchise, far later than the show reveals this particular plot twist, which does suggest that Netflix is willing to shuffle up the deck in favor of providing juicy twists throughout every season. Still, series creator Chris Van Dusen will likely stay true to the basics and give each character their chance to shine. Looking ahead, casual Netflix streamers may be expecting another round of romance between Phoebe and her husband Simon in Bridgerton Season 2, but that story may indeed be pushed aside to make room for Anthony's ongoing identity crisis. Does Simon die in Bridgerton Season 2? The news of Regina Page not returning to play Simon Basset in Bridgerton Season 2 shocked fans, especially considering Page's astounding success in the Shondaland Regency-era show, which has led many viewers to worry that Simon might die in Season 2. Although Simon not being seen in Bridgerton Season 2 might seem unthinkable after how central the Duke of Hastings was in Season 1, his absence would somewhat mirror the Bridgerton book series, where each book focuses on a different Bridgerton sibling finding love. Bridgerton Season 2 will focus on the eldest Bridgerton, Anthony, Jonathan Bailey, and his search for a suitable wife. The season premiere releases on Netflix on March 25. While Simon's absence was confirmed in April 2021, Bridgerton Season 2's trailer showed his wife Daffeny, Phoebe Dynevor, back with the Bridgerton family, ready to help her older brother Anthony in his pursuit of a wife. Despite his love life being at the center, Bridgerton Season 2 will also focus on Anthony as a character. Just like the second Bridgerton book, The Viscount Who Loved Me, the show's Season 2 will probably give particular attention to Anthony's relationship with his father, as his death deeply affected Anthony and his approach to love. Does the Duke die in Bridgerton's books? The Bridgerton books don't foreshadow any sad development in Simon Basset's future, as the Duke of Hastings is alive for all 8 novels, despite his character's presence becoming sparser as the series moves forward. After the Duke and I's epilogue, Simon can be seen in The Viscount Who Loved Me as besotted with his wife Daffeny, and trying his hand at the Bridgerton family game of Pall Mall for the first time. While absent from Benedict's book, An Offer from a Gentleman, Simon is mentioned in a playful conversation between Daphne and Benedict, as she is ready to make an announcement, and Benedict jokes that he already knows Daphne and Simon are expecting another child. Finally, Simon appears in Colin's book, Romancing Mr. Bridgerton, where he's part of Colin's ploy to tell the truth about Lady Whistledown with Daffeny and the Bridgerton family. Bridgerton Season 2 storylines regarding Simon are unlikely to divert too much from the book, especially since he is no longer central to the story. Considering how the book cements Simon's happily ever after with Daphne, though, it's unlikely that anything as monumentally dire as dying will happen to the Duke of Hastings in the show. Although Simon won't be as central to the show as in Season 1, Bridgerton Season 2 is unlikely to outright dismiss him, as the show will likely include reminders of how happy Simon makes Daphne, while simultaneously introducing new characters from the Bridgerton universe for them to love. What happens at the end of Bridgerton Season 1? In the final scene of the episode, the identity of Lady Whistledown is finally unveiled, and we learn that it is none other than Penelope Featherington, but talk among fans on social media suggests that this didn't come as a shock to many. Penelope is the youngest and constantly overlooked sister in her family. What happens to Daphne at the end of Bridgerton? Eventually, Simon makes peace with his past, and the two reconcile their relationship. The season ends with Daphne giving birth to their first child, a baby boy. What does the ending of Bridgerton mean? In the finale, he went to Simon's boxer friend, Will, and convinced the upstanding man to throw his next fight, but it appears that the decision led to Featherington being set upon by gamblers much more dangerous than he, as his wife and daughters were lamenting his sudden death by the very end. What happens to Daphne and Simon at the end of Season 1? Daphne and Simon have a happy ending, but Anthony doesn't. A scandalous makeout session in the gardens at the Trowbridge Ball forces them to marry, lest Daphne's reputation be destroyed. But the would-be happy couple is tense, each believing they have forced the other into the union. Are Daphne and Simon happy in the end? There's also the issue of Daphne's assault, which has been condemned by fans and critics alike. Bridgerton Season 1 ended with Simon and Daphne ultimately getting their happy ending, which was a relief, because the series is now free to explore the lives of other characters and relationships in the ton. This is the end of Bridgerton theories. Let's wait for Season 2 for best.